The senator from West Virginia is recognized.
I ask consent to dispense with the quorum call.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate now proceed to the consideration of Senate Resolution 195, which was submitted earlier today.
The clerk will report.
Senate Resolution 195 commemorating the 150th anniversary of the founding of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Without objection, the Senate will proceed to the measure.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, and the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table.
Without objection.
I understand that there are 3 measures at the desk, Mr. President. I ask for their first reading in block.
The clerk will read the title of the measures for the first time.
As 1050, a bill to modify the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978 and to require judicial review of national security letters and suspicious activities reports to prevent unreasonable searches and for other purposes. Senate Joint Resolution 13, declaring that a state of war exists between the government of Libya and the government and the people of the United States and making provision to prosecute the same. Senate Joint Resolution 14, declaring that the President has exceeded his authority under the War Powers Resolution as it pertains to the ongoing military engagement in Libya.
Mr. President, I ask for second reading. I object to my own request, all in block.
The objection is heard. The measures will be read for the second time on the next legislative day.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the President of the Senate be authorized to appoint a committee on the part of the Senate to join with a like committee on the part of the House of Representatives to escort His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, into the House chamber for the joint meeting at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, May the 24th, 2011.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate completes its business today, it adjourn until 10 a.m. on Tuesday, May 24th. That following the prayer and pledge, the journal of proceedings be approved to date. The morning hour be deemed expired. The time for the 2 leaders be reserved for their use later in the day. That following any leader remarks, the Senate resume consideration of the motion to proceed to Senate 1038, the PATRIOT Act Extension, post-cloture, and that any time during tonight's adjournment count post-cloture on the motion to proceed to S1038.
Without objection.
Mr. President, there will be a joint meeting of Congress tomorrow at 11 a.m. with Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu. Senators should gather in the Senate chamber at 10:30 a.m. to proceed as a body to the hall of the House of Representatives at 10:40 a.m. Mr. President, we anticipate additional debate and adoption of the motion to proceed to Senate 1038, the PATRIOT Act Extension, during Tuesday's session. Mr. President, if there is no further business to come before the Senate, I ask that it adjourn under the previous order.
The Senate stands adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
So the Senate's gavelled out, but earlier today members debated a bill that would extend the expiring provisions of the USA Patriot Act anti-terrorism law. The